guys doing out there today? This is your boy Rudo Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, March 6th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to click the subscribe button below. This week I'll watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come and check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. It was a solid night tonight, but it was a crazy night overall in the NBA. It was a solid one to watch and just chill. But yeah, how'd you do tonight?
Good, man. There were some guys I was on last night that you were kind of not vibing with that I was, like Karl-Anthony Towns and Gordon Hayward that I played in tournaments. Got them very low owned, and they did very well tonight.
Yeah, for sure. What happened to the Warriors, man? That game, I only caught the tail end.
They didn't show up. I mean, you coach, so you understand this. There's some of the best things you can do when you're struggling is go on the road. It just is. I mean, even at our level, the high school level, get on a bus trip and go someplace, and the kids come together. This is exactly what happened with Boston tonight. They came out like they were together. I just haven't seen Boston play that enthused all year long, and they came out from jump. They got an 11-0 run, and the Warriors never found it. They just never found it.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we got 10 games. I don't want to, kind of ramble on too much. Real quick, do you want to kind of, kind of give update on what we got going on the site real quick, and then we can get into this?
Yeah, man. So come to the site. If you guys are not checking out the site, there's a bunch of stuff up that's for free right now. You can take a look at the NBA drop down. Game preview obviously is on the left-hand side of your screen. Deep dive article. Previews, it's a little deeper dive, kind of what the narrative is for each one. Value Street, obvious value plays for the day. Not minimum value, but based off of who's crushing their particular price point. Crush spot, who we think is in the best possible spot, no matter what their price is, to crush the slate. You can check out DDP. You got your core plays video for cash games. I try to get on and do my GVP core plays, but there's a ton of content for NBA. We've also got NHL content up tonight. Cam, the writer for the NHL piece, core plays, absolutely crushed his article tonight. There'll be a PGA article up tomorrow previewing the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and there'll also be an MMA article up at some point in the next couple of days previewing this weekend's MMA fights. There's a ton of content on the site. We're also running a promo. Take $50 off and get NBA absolutely free for the rest of the NBA season. That's access to our cash game lineups for NBA and the upcoming MLB season. It's a $360 value. We're selling it for $150 for the entirety of the season, and NBA is free. So take advantage of those savings now. Use the promo code MLB50. Stop messing around, man. You get plays like Gordon Hayward, like Dwayne played tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, things been going well for sure. Definitely new and exciting things every day. So yeah, man, let's just jump into this real quick. If you guys don't mind, take that quick second, click the like button down below for me. And yeah, man, so let's just go. First game we're gonna go with, it is going to be the Dallas Mavericks going into Washington to face the Wizards. This game has, hold on, I'm waiting for my screen to load. Sorry.
Where we at?
We're at, I'm sorry, I got it right here. The Dallas Mavericks going into Washington to face the Wizards. This game has a 231 over-under. Washington is favored by 5.5 in this one.
Hey, man, look, the guy that you got to go right back to here is Dwight Powell, right? I mean, he's playing really well right now. He's getting a lot of run. He's kind of getting 2 rotations in the first quarter and a third rotation that leaves him in for the majority of the second quarter. So it's a ton of minutes early on. It's a nice guy to put in your early games. Very fair price tag at 6.8 for what he's been doing recently. I think the price tag is actually fair. I don't think it's overpriced or underpriced. Dirk Nowitzki, you've touched on it. The guy's going to get run because, he's coming down to his last, I think, 17 games now. Doncic at 9.3. I said the other night I couldn't play him against Brooklyn. I just couldn't do it. I thought the price tag at 9.8 was too expensive. He's now 9.3, took a $500 drop. I think that it's okay to go with Doncic on an 11-game slate in this spot, give you some early exposure. Outside of that, I'm really not looking for anything else. I mean, I know that Tim Hardaway is 5.5 and Jalen Brunson's 4.6, and they can be value plays, but there's better spots.
Man, Do people still play Washington these days? I mean, that's really where I'm at with Washington. I mean, there's a couple guys that you can look at on Washington. Portis is a GPP play. We always know this guy. I mean, when he plays minutes, he absolutely crushes, has some upside. It's all about minutes, really, with Portis. It's always been like that since his Bulls days. 6,700. He's an up and down player, definitely. So GPP, but it's looking like he's playing right around 28 to 29 minutes a game, basically. 40 fantasy point upside. I think he has a little bit GPP relevance. You can look at a Bradley Beal, but the price tag 10.5, strictly GPP. Jeff Green 4,600. He's a GPP play. After that, I mean, I'm not interested in nobody else. Cool.
Jabari Parker's getting a little run. I think he's okay for tournaments.
Shit, you're right. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot he was even on the team.
Yeah, it's been a while. Right?
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing about him. I mean, like I said, I haven't looked at Washington. Yeah, no, Jabari Parker definitely GPP play. Thing about him is that they're pretty much sharing minutes. You got Parker sharing, you got Jeff Green, Portis. They're all in that little rotation, and Thomas Bryant's in there a little bit. So for guys are all playing 25, 26 minutes. I want a little bit more minutes. Moving on, next game we're gonna go with, it's gonna be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Going into Detroit to face the Pistons. This game has a 224.5 over under, and Detroit's favored by 5.5 in this one.
Hey, bro, real quick, just to circle back on Washington, I've played Jeff Green in the past 6 slates. If you just get him solo owned, and he has 35-point upside. At 4.6, you get him for like 2 or 3% owned, and if he goes for 35 or 40 fantasy points, which we know he can, you basically have him and nobody else does. He's starting. Playing solid minutes. So, all right, we're on to Minnesota. Karl-Anthony Towns is the guy that you have to start with. I liked him last night, again, going against Oklahoma City today. I know you didn't like him so much going against Adams, but I was more basing my decision not off Adams. I was basing it off the fact that in 3 of the past 4 games, he had 60-plus fantasy points. And, again, he's the absolute top-scoring guy on the slate tonight. So, at 11-5, this is going against Drummond now. The only reason I don't like this play against Drummond, and I did like it against Adams, is I personally felt that Karl-Anthony Towns had a chance to get some rebounds and block shots because of the way Oklahoma City plays. I don't know if he's got that same upside against Andre Drummond because Drummond's such a great rebounder. I could definitely see him keeping up the point total because of the usage rate's really high. I just don't know if you're going to get the rebounds. I could totally see him going 26, 5, and 5 or something like that, which – don't get me wrong, it's a good score out of Towns, but I don't know if I want to go there on this slate in this spot. I think you will get him low owned, and if you want to, go back in tournaments, you can't overlook the fact that in 4 of the past 5 games now, he's put up 60-plus fantasy points. So you have to start there. Jeff Teague, Dario Saric, Jeff Okogie, all fine in tournaments. Derrick Rose as well, fine in tournaments, and Andrew Wiggins, fine in tournaments, and that's really where I will leave that.
Yeah, on the Pistons side of things, I'm going to start with Blake Griffin. I really, really like Blake Griffin right here. 8,500 going against the Timberwolves on the second end of a back-to-back. They got a projected total of 115. I just think that's too cheap for Blake. And I'm looking at kind of, okay, well, why is he so cheap? Has he been doing absolutely horrible? What's going on? And, I mean, he just hasn't really been getting it's kind of he just either scoring the ball or he's not scoring the ball and he's doing, a bunch of assists, etc. He just hasn't, but he's still right around 33, 34 in the past 3 games. So you got to like that. 8,500, you need 42 for value. And we know that Blake Griffin has 60 fantasy point upside. Maybe he hasn't shown that in a while. I'll be more realistic, 55. But I really like Blake Griffin right here. I think he's really, really underpriced. Drummond, 10,000, great price going against Towns. He's not a very good defender. Like Drummond in this spot. Reggie Jackson's always a possible GPP play. I'm going to get him low owned. Outside of that, I mean, that's really it for me with the Pistons.
Yeah, I could see Blake Griffin in this spot, and that's really it. I don't think that
price. I mean, it's a good price on him.
The only problem I have with it is from a DVP standpoint, it's not the best matchup. They're Minnesota's not giving up a ton of points, but usage wise for 8.5, I think it's a really good play.
Yeah, and then I was like, he's getting a ton of minutes for the most part. He's playing 35 minutes, so for sure. Next game we're gonna go with is gonna be the Miami Heat going into Charlotte to face the Hornets. This game has a 219 over-under, and Charlotte's favored by 3 in this one.
Yeah, so we don't have to wait. Dragic already been ruled out for tomorrow's game, so we don't have to wait. So we know what to expect with that, and that's the two guys, Josh Richardson and Justice Winslow. They'll get the majority of the bump here. Pretty much, we called it on the NBA Live video before this game kicked off. Before Miami's last game kicked off, when we got the news that Whiteside was in, it pretty much put 4 guys in a rotation for minutes with their big guys: Olynyk, Bam, James Johnson, and Whiteside. And Bam, he ended up being lower owned, and I think he only got 18 fantasy points. So the guys to look at here are definitely Richardson and Justice Winslow. You can also throw Dion Waiters in this mix as well as Dwayne Wade at 6.3. I think those are the 4 guys you look to. If you want a salary saver type play, you can look to Derrick Jones Jr. He is getting minutes. The guy can jump out of a freaking building. We know that. There's just not enough that's consistent for me to say he's a staple player or a core play. But I do think Josh Richardson, he has one of the top DVP matchups. He's going to be a high usage player. He's killed in this spot before against the Hornets without a Goran Dragic. I think last year he went for like 55 fantasy points against Charlotte. It could have been the year before that. I'll have to go back and look. But Richardson and Winslow's where it's at.
Yeah, on the Hornets side of things, a couple guys I do like. I'm going to start with Kemba Walker. We always like him at home. It isn't the best matchup. If he goes against, Richardson and Winslow, I think are pretty good defenders for the most part. But, hey, he's their team. He's got the usage is through the roof. He's shooting the ball as much as he wants. So I think he's a good GPP play, strictly GPP for me. Cody Zeller as well. Him and Kemba Walker have a really good pick and roll relationship. Cody Zeller 5.7. I will note that his minutes have been down the past couple games, but overall the past 10 games he's been playing close to 30 minutes, and he's been playing very well. So he is in play for GPPs. Nicholas Batum is he's been playing decent. He's back to doing what Nicholas Batum does, fills up the stat sheet. He has 40 fantasy point upside at 6.4. I think that he's a solid play. The minutes are there. The production has been there for the most part, looking like the Nicholas Batum that we know. He is in play for GPPs. The only other guy I'm really going to look at, Tony Parker. This guy, when he gets minutes, he does what he does, even though he's an old man now. Past 2 games, for example, he got you 18 minutes and 13 minutes only, but he got you 23 fantasy points and 21 fantasy points. Sometimes they're occasionally going to give him the 20 to 22 minutes. And if that's the case, he has, 30 fantasy point upside at bare minimum price tag. So I think he's a solid job spot play. You can look at in tournaments. And outside of that, that's where I'm at.
Important game for both.
Real quick. I'm sorry. Not meaning to cut you off. My bad. I can't forget about Jeremy Lamb. Sorry, Jeremy Lamb. They got him coming off the bench, 6,800, but he's still playing, 32 to 34 minutes a game, and the guy has upside. He's shooting the ball well, playing well right now. Good GPP play as well. Sorry, I couldn't forget about him, man. I really like him.
Yeah, important game too for both these teams. The 8th and 9th seed currently, and actually, they have one less win than Orlando does with 30. And so Orlando's percentage points behind them. But these are the 8 and 9 seed right now. On the outside looking in is Charlotte, Miami trying to hold on. Miami on the outside looking in, Charlotte trying to hold on. So important game here.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that we have been talking about, just to kind of remind you guys, is now we're kind of in the home stretch. You want to target teams that are playing for things, because the minutes are going to be there. Some of the teams that don't care no more, which is probably going to be the Lakers very soon, the minutes are going to be all over the place, and you can't really trust them. So, make sure to target the teams that are playing for something for the most part.
I actually texted you last night. Remember, I said they're going to shut LeBron down soon. Watch, remember?
Yeah, and I started hearing people talk about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool.
All right.
Next game we're going to go with is going to be the San Antonio Spurs going into Atlanta to face the Hawks. We're waiting on some news right now, so we don't have an over-under or a Vegas line on this game yet.
Hey, man, the Hawks, the one thing I have to say about the Hawks is they've turned a corner, really, with this group, right? They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. It's not impressive, but it's impressive for a team that has 22 wins in the season and coming off a very close loss to Miami. This team's playing, and this is a team that doesn't have a lot to play for, but they are playing. This team is bringing it every single night. So I look for this game to be competitive. And if it's going to be competitive, I think LaMarcus Aldridge is the first place I want to look. I mean, we're looking at Alex Len starting. We know Alex Len has never really been a good starting center. When he comes off the bench and gets good bench minutes, the guy has the opportunity to deliver. We saw it in Phoenix. We've seen it in Atlanta. He started against Miami in a chalk spot. He dudded. So I think you look at LaMarcus Aldridge. You talk about Blake Griffin at 8.5 being very fair price. I like LaMarcus Aldridge much better at 8.2 and a much better spot. Another guy that I'm going to look at is Forbes. 3.8 for Bryn Forbes. This guy's getting run. This guy knocks down shots. I like him a lot. Pirtle, game time decision. I look if Pirtle's out for them to go and put Rudy Gay back in the starting lineup. And the problem I have with Rudy Gay is 6.5. That's too much for Rudy Gay, especially for what he's done recently. It's just too much. So for me, I'm going to stick with really LaMarcus Aldridge, Bryn Forbes, and DeMar DeRozan as a tournament play.
Yeah, man, on the Hawk side of things, I'm going to go right to him, man. Alex Len, I don't care. Tomorrow, lock him in. He's going to be, super chalky tomorrow, even though he let everybody down. Going to be starting 4,100. If it doesn't work out, he's going to be a drop spot again. I mean, that's where I'm at with it.
I can't see him being chalked tomorrow. Not at 4.1.
You think
I'll tell you why. 2 reasons, all right? And the 2 reasons are one name, Amir Johnson. Went off. Price didn't change. He's going to start tomorrow. He's minimum value 3.5.
Yeah, it's funny, though, because Alex Len and Amir Johnson, they're the same. They're the same. Hey, they go off, and then they'll have that 8-point game. They'll go off. Like, hey, they're the exact same. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think the difference between the two of them is that Alex Len can have a game where he just can't – he's so big and skinny that he just gets pushed around. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have good balance, and he gets pushed around. You look at an active guy like Bam or James Johnson or even Hassan Whiteside when he was in, he just couldn't get positioned to get anything, to make anything happen. Amir Johnson – he's active all the time, no matter what. It's just he's started so many times at minimum value and run 8 minutes, and that's not going to do anything. Yeah. But if he's going to play the minutes he played the other night, I mean, at 3.5, he'll be the drop spot.
Yeah, for sure. So I still like Alex Len. I'm going to go right back to the well. That's a good point with Amir Johnson to definitely think about. But a lot of people, are going to have the narrative of he just busted. They don't want to go back to the well. Definitely think you can go there. John Collins is expected to come back. He's a game time decision right now. 8,000. I mean, it's a decent price tag. He's strictly GPP, though. I'm not going to be playing no Collins personally. Trae Young is a guy that I'm looking at, 8.4. He has, 60 fantasy point upside. The guy's been playing very, very well, shooting the ball. One of these games he got ejected, so I can't really count this one. This one, he just had a bad game against Miami, and it wasn't even a horrible game, but he just didn't play well. 8 turnovers, but still got you. He's still filling up the stat sheet. So I like Trae Young. I think he's a good play right here. Probably a little bit more of a GPP play. I don't really know who else I'm looking at on the Hawks. Prince 5,000, Huerter, no thank you, maybe a couple of GPPs. Kent Bazemore, if he's coming off the bench, 5,000, people aren't going to look at him. But either way, even if he's coming off the bench, they're going to figure out a way to get this guy 27 to 30 minutes. 5,000 price tag if he has low ownership because he's coming off the bench. Great play, solid low-owned player that you can play, maybe even in cash games. Something you could consider, but that's really where I'm at with the Hawks.
Vince Carter.
Oh, yeah, he's been playing. Yeah, I got you, Vince Carter for sure. Hey, I think this may be Vince Carter's last year, and they're kind of doing the same thing we talked about with Wade and Dirk. Remember how we're talking about they're getting minutes now?
Trying to tell you guys, man. Don't tell me I didn't try to tell you guys yesterday.
Yep. I forgot about that. Hey, it's funny.
But the thing about Bazemore, bro, is that I've said this before. I like him better coming off the bench because they don't have another point guard, and when he comes off the bench, his usage rate is higher. Yeah,
for sure. He's the main scorer. Moving on, next game we're going to go with, it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers going into Brooklyn to face the Nets. This game has a 225.5 over under, and Vegas has Brooklyn favored by 8.5 in this one.
So let's take a look. The minutes limit is 28 right now for Kevin Love. If we hear something tomorrow they're going to push him to 30 or 32, I love it even more. But we're talking about another guy at 8.3. We love big guys going against Brooklyn. That's just the way it is. I think Larry Nance at 5.6, Kevin Love at 8.3 are both playable. I even like Chetty. I like this guy. I mean, I like Cleveland tomorrow. I like teams that are playing Brooklyn because Brooklyn's competitive. They're a playoff team right now. And the thing about Brooklyn is they've got one guy in D'Angelo Russell who takes a assload of shots, and there's a lot of long rebounds off that. So I for guys who their front court guys, Kevin Love, Chetty Osman, Larry Nance, I like those guys. I even think you could play Colin Sexton tomorrow in tournaments. He's playing 31.6 minutes is what he's averaged over his last 5 and 17.2 points. At a 5.2 price tag, he's a really good tournament play. You have to love Jordan Clarkson. He's a scorer. You want to get scores in your lineups when you're playing it when Brooklyn's on the slate. So Clarkson, I like him. I like Cleveland. I like these plays tomorrow. I understand that the spread is 8, but what you have to take into consideration here is we talk about how many teams there are out there that are stacked and log jammed at different spots. This is not one of them. Cleveland is not one of them. They have a shortage if you think about how many guys they have out. Now Zizic is out. I mean, Tristan Thompson's been out. So, they've got guys that are out and their rotation is really short. I mean, outside of David Nwaba and Deladova, nobody's really getting any minutes besides their starters and Jordan Clarkson. So those are the guys that to me, I think these Cleveland guys are very playable tomorrow, and I think they're probably lower owned guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, on the net side of things, talk about a logjam. They got everybody back right now. Everybody's basically back, and everybody's splitting minutes. You got D'Angelo Russell at 9,000, and he's playing 20. Let me show you this, man. I was looking at this right now, and it's because Dinwiddie is back, and Dinwiddie's playing 22 to 25. Past 4, Russell hasn't even played over 28 minutes. You want to pay 9,000? No, thank you. Maybe in one,
LeVert, right? You mean LeVert?
No, Spencer Dinwiddie. He's back too.
Oh, I thought you were talking about LeVert because Dinwiddie's only played a couple games, but yeah, you're right.
Because he's the other point guard they got, you know what I mean? And they like him. He plays, 25 minutes a game. So I mean, so it's the same thing with him, 6,300, and he's playing 25 minutes. I mean, I'm not really looking on the Nets. The one guy I was actually looking at outside of LeVert, I do like LeVert. Even if he's coming off the bench, he's going to get close to 30 minutes. They're young, kind of like he's like the Bazemore of Atlanta. They like this guy, and they're going to figure out ways to get him on the floor either way. 6,400 though, the price tag it's a fair price tag if he's going to play close to 30 minutes. GPP play. The guy I like though is Karukis, 3,900. He's still under 4,000. Could use him as a job spot, and he's been in the starting lineup the past couple games. 27, 24 minutes. He got you 20 points and almost 28 points. So 3,900, you need 19 for value. I think that he's a good play if he's going to be in the start lineup going against the Cavs. I think he's honestly my favorite play on the Brooklyn side of things. I'm not really looking at nobody else. Carroll had a solid game the other day, but I mean, he's only playing 22, 23 minutes. I mean, so it's a tougher one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Next game we're going with, it's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game has a 227.5 over under. Philadelphia is favored by 5 in this one.
I mean, look, Chicago's playing hard too. They took Indiana to the mat tonight, made it a close game. Robin Lopez went nuts. So you have to look at what Philadelphia doesn't have. We know Joel Embiid's going to miss a couple more games. We know Boban is out. Jonah Bolden missed today with an illness. This illness is going around in the NBA. Guys are missing a couple of games. So, if he's out again, then like I said, Amir Johnson is going to be a very chalky play. He did get minutes against the Golden State Warriors when Jonah Bolden started. So I still think that Amir Johnson is playable because they don't have any other big guys. But Mike Scott is another guy that you can definitely look at as a pivot in that spot and a lower-owned tournament option that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. You can take a look at his game log and see the minutes are there. So that's another guy you could definitely look at. But Ben Simmons at 9.9. I don't know if I like this game enough to load Simmons up. Coming on a back-to-back, he did put up 50-plus tonight. The narrative is with Jimmy Butler. He's back in Chicago going against his former team. Tobias Harris is underpriced at 8,000. He just is. This is the one guy, you said it the other night, this is the one guy that's taken over. He's getting the majority of the shots. He's playing a bunch of minutes. And J.J. Redick. So I think those 4 guys that are starting are all fine. Ben Simmons is the guy that I would kind of hedge with and say that he's probably more of a straight tournament play. But, pay attention to what happens with Jonah Bolden because Mike Scott and Amir Johnson will definitely be in play again if Bolden is out.
Yeah, on the Bull side of things, so Otto Porter is going to be back tomorrow. So when this updates, it will be him back in the starting lineup. And I think that Otto Porter is fine, 7,400. He's playing a bunch of minutes for sure. They're playing their starters minutes right now. So for me, I'm going to make it simple. I like the 4 starters out. I mean, Lopez is decent. I'm not going to play Lopez, but I definitely can see myself playing some Markkanen. Done 5,900. He hasn't done nothing special, but I was looking at his game log. He's still getting you 25 to 28 fantasy points. At 5,900, he's pretty much still getting you 5x, and we know he has 40 fantasy point upside. So I think he's a GPP play that you can look at. Very, very fair price tag. So here you go. So I'll just show you. See, so he's playing right around 30 minutes. He's getting you right there, 25 to 28. He has 40 fantasy point upside. So I like Dunn in this spot. I think Dunn's nice. Markkanen's a solid play. Zach LaVine, 8,000. You need 40 for him to hit value. I mean, he has upside for sure. He's playing the minutes. So I like LaVine, Porter. That's really it. It's just really the 4 starters outside of Lopez. Markkanen, Dunn, LaVine, Porter.
I like Arcidiacono, especially on DraftKings at 3.3. Take a look at what he's putting up. 22.1, 17.7, 17.4, 19.6. He's in the rotation again. 3.3 on DK, I like that. And then 3.7 on FanDuel. Probably don't need him on FanDuel, but DK, I think, is a really good value play.
How much was he?
On DK, his price is 3.3.
Oh, yeah. It's dirt right there. I got you.
Exactly.
All right. Moving on. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the Utah Jazz going into New Orleans to face the Pelicans. This game has a 231.5 over under, and Utah's favored by 4 in this one.
Yeah, so this is Rudy Gobert at 8.1 on DK I can get behind, but at 10.2 on FanDuel, I don't know if I can get behind it in this spot. I liked him at home in the same exact game. This is a home and home. They just played the other night in Utah. Now Utah travels to New Orleans. 10.2 on FanDuel, I think is expensive. I understand it's the same price I recommended you play Rudy Gobert the other night. I just don't like this spot, but I'll say the same exact things. New Orleans struggles against big guys. They've struggled against big guys forever. They struggle against centers and power forwards. They just do. That's just what it is. I think the guy you go right back to the well with is Jae Crowder. The one thing that you can take to the bank is the perimeter players play extremely well also against New Orleans because of, one, the pace, and the small forward position usually avoids Drew Holiday. Jae Crowder's too much of a mismatch to get Drew Holiday. You're looking at him getting a Kenrick Williams. Jae Crowder's skill set is way better than that. And then when the bench rolls in, you're taking a look at, Diallo, Darius Miller, Frank Jackson, and those guys. It's a complete mismatch for them to guard Jae Crowder. I'll go right back to the well with him. Outside of that, I think everybody else is too expensive on FanDuel. And like I said, I could get behind the 8-1 for Gobert on DK. I think that's a really good price to get yourself a center.
Yeah, on the Pelicans side of things, there's a couple guys that I definitely think you could look at. First, I'll start with Julius Randle. The guy is playing absolutely out of his mind. 9,500 is a very, very steep price tag, and I understand that. So for me, he is a GPP play in a little bit of a tough matchup. But, it's like pretty much Julius Randle's one of those guys, like whoever he's going up against, he's going to get his, and that's what it is. I would like him even more if, that all these random reasons that, Davis may sit out for a game or something like that. If Davis happened to be out, boom. If not, Davis is not even playing in the fourth quarter. Randle gets a ton of run. So he is in play. Alfred Payton, 6,400 is a very fair price tag. He's been playing right around 30 minutes, been getting you close to 30 fantasy points, been very consistent. And he has 40 fantasy point upside. Drew Holiday, under 9,000, 8,700. He's still playing, 33, 34 minutes. He's just not really playing the 39 minutes too much anymore. And, he's been very consistent. He's doing what Drew Holiday does. So I think he is in play, and if it's a close game and he possibly gets a couple extra minutes, then that kind of, just gives him even more of a little bit of a boost. Diallo, the only way I'm really going to be looking at Diallo tomorrow is if Okafor is out, then he'll be the prime backup, and he'll get the extra run when Anthony Davis doesn't play the fourth quarter. But that's really it for me on the Pelicans.
So let me ask you this, bro. Is Anthony Davis a lock on DK at 6.7?
Let me look one more time how many minutes he's playing. Hold on for a minute.
22.
So he's playing 22 minutes at 6.7.
43.7 fantasy points against Utah in 22 minutes.
Meaning he's close to, for sure. That's a good play right there.
It's close to. Is he close? He's close to a lock. No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at least to hit you value on that price tag.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how much upside he gives you, but to give you, if you're just looking for a 5x player, put in your utility spot. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Cool, man. All right. Hey, let's move on. Next game we're gonna go with is gonna be the New York Knicks going into Phoenix to face the Suns. Battle of the tanking teams. You got 225.5 over under, and Phoenix is favored by 3.5 in this one.
Did I call the New York Knicks stack against the Kings? Did I call the New York Knicks stack? Did I call it? You had Trier go for 40. You had Dennis Smith Jr. go for 40 plus. You had Mitchell Robinson played well. Dotson even got, I think, 18 or 19. We had the question asked to us, who do you play, Trier over Dotson? I said Trier because of the fact that Dotson, Trier's going to get more shots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Look, this is the same spot, and that's why I'm bringing it up. I think that you can go right back to the well with Dennis Smith Jr. here. 6.9 on FanDuel, 6.2 on DK. This is a very fair price for a guy that's going to be an up-tempo game. There's not going to be a lot of defense played here. There should be a ton of points scored. I understand both these teams are tanking. I understand that this is not going to be a shit show. I don't think. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I do, and I think you can load up Dennis Smith Jr. It'll be interesting to see what happens with DeAndre Jordan. He's a game-time decision. He'll just screw up Mitchell Robinson is all he'll really do, but it won't really affect Trier, Moutier, Dennis Smith Jr., or Kevin Knox. Those guys are still going to be playable. And then, the other thing to look at too is look who's going to play. Mr. Luke Cornett comes back out of nowhere. That's the tough thing with the Knicks is you don't know who else they're going to play, but you can bank on Dotson, Dennis Smith Jr., and Emmanuel Moutier and Trier for sure. Those are the guys playing 25, 26, 27, 28, 30 minutes. Those are the guys you stick with.
Yeah, on the Sun side of things, there's three guys I like, and that's really where I'm at. I mean, you got DeAndre Ayton, 8,500. I mean, I know the price tag's up there, but the young guy's producing. He's playing very, very well. I don't expect DeAndre Jordan to be back tomorrow. I like the spot for Ayton. Next I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson, man. He's a starting point guard. I used to love playing Tyler Johnson when he was on the Heat. He's like I said, I met this dude before. He's a cool dude. And 5,400, very fair price tag. He's going to get you, 5X for the most part. And he has 40 fantasy point upside. So I think this is a solid spot for, Tyler Johnson as well. And lastly, Devin Booker, 8,600. I mean, this guy is, every team pretty much has that one guy where they get the ultimate green light. And Devin Booker is a guy for the Suns. He's going to play his minutes. He got the ultimate green light. The guy, he has 60 fantasy point upside. Going against the Knicks, I like Devin Booker a lot in this spot. I think it's a really good spot for him. Oubre, he's been playing decent. The price tag is way up there, though. That's why I'm not really looking at Oubre. Maybe one lineup if I'm running 150 in GPP, but I'm not really looking at him too much. Outside that, Jackson's minutes have been cut. Bridges' minutes have been cut. It's really just those three guys for me.
Why no Oubre?
He just on FanDuel is too expensive. 7.7. 7.7, you need 38 for value.
Which he's done 3 of the past 6 games.
Yeah, I get it, but it's just the inconsistency. That's what I said. GPP, but that's it for me.
Moving on.
Next game we're going with Boston. Hey, this is going to be a letdown spot for Boston. Calling it right now.
Not going to happen.
You don't think so?
This is going to be a great basketball game.
Boston Celtics going into Sacramento to face the Kings. This game has a 229 over under, and the Kings are favored by 1. And real quick, so I think it'll go 2 ways. Either it's going to be a letdown game because of the monster win against the Warriors, or it's going to be like the teams finally coming together. We're bonding. Let's whoop the Kings' ass kind of thing too. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what's going to happen. See, look, I know nobody reads the newspaper anymore. We're not in that era. But that's what the saying is, right? Don't believe what you read in the paper. the Warriors bought into what they read in the paper. I mean, they bought into this was a Boston team coming in. They're going to be on the road. They're falling apart. All this negative shit's being said by other players. We're going to go out here tonight, wax that ass, and move on, right? And they got their ass handed to them, period.
Right.
This is a young Sacramento Kings team that's not the Warriors. They're not believing anybody's hype, but this team's trying to make the playoffs. And they have some veteran leadership when you look at Harrison Barnes, right? So I fully expect the Kings to come out and try to prove something and try to lay it on Boston. And I look for Boston to continue what they did tonight. And that's the road does something. It can heal a team. It really can. You got guys staying in hotel rooms. You're traveling together. You're eating together. You're doing all this stuff that you don't do when you're sleeping in your own bed at home. And they play like it tonight. I think Jason Tatum is probably the top play here at 6.3. He's a complete mismatch for what they offer with Harrison Barnes, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Buddy Hield as their perimeter players. I just don't see a matchup that Jason Tatum can't exploit here. He's much more athletic than Harrison Barnes. If you try and put Bogdan on him, it's a mismatch. Buddy Hield can't play with him, and then you're looking at Fox. So you're trying to figure out who's going to come off the bench. If they go to Bjelica, he can't guard Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum at 6.3 on FanDuel is a super fair price. 5.8 on DraftKings is just dirt cheap. So I think he's the top play for Boston in the spot. This is not the same type of game I thought tonight was when I had said Marcus Smart was going to have a great game tonight going against the Warriors because it's not a dog game. And you don't need that dog in this game. This is going to be more of a fast tempo game, I think, going against this young, fresh Kings team. So Kyrie Irving, 9-4. I can get behind you in tournaments, but I'm going to stick with Al Horford, Jason Tatum, and maybe a little bit of Marcus Morris. It's a good spot for Marcus Morris as well. Outside of that, Gordon Hayward at 4.5 is way too cheap. Continue to load this guy up and see what happens with Boston. If I'm Boston, with all the shit that is going on in their locker room, you got on the plane, you probably start talking on the plane like, let's go win 3 games out west. We can win 3 games. You got one tonight. Now you're trying to get the momentum tomorrow. I look for this team to really play together tomorrow. I saw a crazy stat today. The projected starting lineup of Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward was a projected starting lineup. They played 1 minute together on the floor this year. 1 minute.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the King side of things, I mean, it's easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you guys. I like all 5 of the starters. I think that they're all are definitely in play. The one that scared me a little bit, Buddy Hield, he's been on absolute fire. I understand. But 8,000, we need 40 just for value, and he may get the Marcus Smart defense, and, that's tough. We've seen what he did to Harden. So, I guess
he absolutely frustrated the shit out of Kevin Durant tonight.
Yeah, no, that's what he does. And that's what scared me a little bit on Hill. It's a combination of the smart defense and the 8,000 price tag. But he's still, like I said, GPP. But I really do honestly like all 5 stars. And I think they're all in play for sure. Willie Cauley's starting at 6,000. The price tag is just there. And he's been playing well since Bagley's been out. So I think he's in play. The only other guy that I'm looking at off the bench, Harry Giles without Bagley. He's been getting the extended run, and the guy's been producing. He's getting 25 fantasy points a night, 4.7. That's your value right there. I think he can get you 35 fantasy points. I think that's probably his upside. So, hey, I'll definitely take that at a 4.7 price tag. So you can look at him off the bench, along with all 5 of the starters, and that's where I'm at.
My question to you is, I put out for you that they don't have a matchup for Jason Tatum, right? Who is going to guard Bogdan? They don't have anybody.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, because if you put Marcus Smart on Buddy Hield, which I agree with you, I think that'll happen. Who guards Bogdan? Marcus Morris?
I like Bogdan.
I mean, and we've seen early in the year when Bogdan has been in the spot, we've seen like against New Jersey, against Cleveland, he went on like a 3-game stretch where he averaged 10 assists. So I think it's that he's in the absolute best spot out of any of the 5.
Yeah. I all year, whenever he's in the starting lineup, he's a guy that he does a little bit of everything. He's a really good passer too.
Really good passer.
For sure. All right, moving on. Next one we're going to go with, it is going to be the Denver Nuggets going. Oh, we got to talk about this team. So we got the Denver Nuggets going into LA to face My Lakers, man. Our Lakers. Come on, man. We don't got an over-under or Vegas line. We're probably waiting to see if LeBron's going to sit out or not.
I'm going to keep this really, really simple. Really simple. If Gary Harris is playing more minutes, I would mention him, but I'm not going to. He kills the Lakers. But it's 5 guys. It's actually 6. Malik Beasley's a tournament play. I'll start with that. Mason Plumlee is also a tournament play. That's number 2. And then you look at Jokic, Murray, Millsap, and Barton. All of them in play here. Barton, $100 price discount on FanDuel at 5.9. He's 5.6 on DK. You load Barton up tomorrow. This is a really good spot for him. It's also a really, really good spot for Jokic. There's not a center here. JaVale McGee is not going to – he is not a matchup for Jokic. He's just not. And I look for the same type of game that Jokic had against Oklahoma City a few games back when they played the high pick and roll. That gets the center out from underneath the basket. LeBron's trying to play pick and roll with JaVale McGee. Problem is they got a real center here in Jokic. I look for Jokic to have a monster game in this spot if it stays close. I think this is a last stand for the Lakers too. I think they're going to get this game and they're going to get the Boston game to see if they can win one out of those 2. And if they do, they may continue their push. But if they lose these 2 games, I think the season's done. I think they just mail the rest of it in. You start seeing, like you mentioned, other guys start to get minutes and minutes kind of get all over the place.
Yeah, I mean – on the Lakers side of things, can I just completely pass?
You can't because I know there's going to be exposure to this game.
I don't want nobody. I mean, I think Denver is 2nd in the league in defense. I think
they are.
Yeah, bro. Denver's a very, very good defensive team. Rondo jumped up to 7,500. LeBron is 12.7. Ingram is a game-time decision. Even if he plays, I think that Ingram would be the guy I would look at. 7.7 in the way he's been playing. If he's going to get a matchup with Will Barton at the small 4 position, he can exploit that matchup. He'll probably be the guy I would look at out of any of those 3. McGee, if he's going to start 4.3, he has a little bit of upside on the price tag. GPP play, he's just not the best matchup against Jokic or even when Plumlee comes in. The only thing that I'm really curious about is who's going to get the extra run off the bench with Kyle Kuzma out. I don't know. It's going to either be, Josh Hart or it's going to be Caldwell Pope. And I think both of those guys are GPP plays. If Caldwell Pope is going to be a starter at minimum price, or even Josh Hart, 4.4 and he's going to start, one of these could possibly be, a guy you can look at as a late game exposure guy. But I'm not interested in the Lakers, man.
I will tell you another reason that I think Alex Lynn's ownership won't be as high as you might think it will be. Are you ready?
McGee.
Mike Muscala.
Oh, Mike Muscala.
He got 14 minutes in 2. He's got 14 minutes in 2 of the past 3 games. We know he hasn't played a lot of games since he's been traded to the Lakers. But if this game blows out, which this game could very easily blow out. We know you mentioned Denver's defense. If it blows out, if Ingram doesn't play, we already know Kuzma's out. If for some reason Ingram gets held out of this one as well, I think that the guy you could see pick up the entire 4th quarter plus some minutes in the first half is Mike Muscala, and I think that's a guy at 3.5 that you could probably look at getting you 6x or 7x tomorrow.
Yeah, I could see a scenario that if Ingram is out, I could see a scenario where Mike Muscala asks him to start, and if he starts,
I would agree with you.
Huh?
I would agree with you.
Yes, and hey, that's a good call, man. That's a really good call. That's why we do these, 2 of us on this video. This way we could kind of, if one of us misses something, hey, that's a really good call. Something to watch. Ingram out, Mike Muscala starts, lock him in, move on. Hey, that's it, man. Hey, we're moving on with this video, and I'm ready to go lay down. I'm tired. I'm not going to lie, but hey, we got it done for you guys. 10 games wrapped up. Remember, got a lot of good stuff going on the site. Go check out all of our articles that have been coming in daily. Go get our MLB pre-order special luxury box membership. You get the whole MLB season plus the rest of NBA season, $150. Use promo code MLB50. That's it, man. You guys have a great night. Good luck on your guys' contest tomorrow. Peace out.